Can I please see a show of hands? Who has danced at least one time in your life? Okay. How did you feel when you were dancing? Did you feel warm, happy, energized, or cold, sad, upset? Most of you are probably leaning towards the more positive end of the spectrum, and there's a reason. Studies have shown that dancing can actually improve multiple aspects of your life, and if dance can improve each of our individual lives, can't it improve the whole world? So for thousands of years, dance has been used in other cultures as a form of healing and in religious practices. Quote, dance in its therapeutic and healing capacities is one of the oldest forms of healing interventions and experiences known to humankind, century upon century, in ancient and pre-industrial cultures, end quote. In a 2000 article that I reviewed by Sommer and Saadon, they discussed a Tunisian ritual dance called Stambali. This dance is used for many different purposes. Generally, it's used at large events or ceremonies to quell envy among their guests. That's where it's used most frequently. One participant in the study that they did described it as a way to, quote, dance your problems away. So the ritual is also used to negotiate with demons that may be causing an issue or an upset, some kind of crisis in their personal lives. There's no specific choreography for the dance. It's based solely on improvisation, intuition. It does require an animal sacrifice, which I thought was interesting. They usually use a chicken for economic purposes, they said, because, quote, the slaughter, viewing, and smearing of the blood usually satisfies the needs of the angry demons and marks the successful resolution of the ceremony, end quote. That being said, I did learn that the dance is generally performed in a joyful, uplifting atmosphere in order to attenuate the anger of the demons and to please them, because they want them to be pleased so that they'll stop causing whatever upset is occurring. Many people who participate in the dance have reported experiencing a dissociative trance, either during or immediately afterward, characterized by, quote, analgesia, involuntary and disowned behavior, and amnesia, end quote. So the analgesia, or numbing feeling that is felt during the trance, could be the reason that they use it for medical purposes. So I have a video example of the dance. We won't watch the whole thing. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the music along with it, but as you can see, this woman is just kind of grooving, just moving along to the beat, just feeling it, doing her own thing, and the people behind her are obviously also like feeling the beat of the music, just fully embracing what's going on. They have women do the dance because they're frowned upon in their culture, and so it's a way for them to kind of like get back at the man, if you will. I hope you guys can hear the video because it's cool. You can hear them like singing along. It's just cool to hear, so I apologize if you can't hear the audio, but I will stop the video there. So the Tunisians aren't the only ones who use dance like that. As Sommer and Saadon said later in their article, quote, dance serves as a primary vehicle for religious and secular observance throughout Africa, end quote. I thought that was just so beautifully said that I had to directly quote it. And then they go on to use the example of members of the Muslim Sufi order in Cairo, Egypt, to perform a dance ritual that is known as the Zikr ceremony. So they use the Zikr ceremony as a way to experience unity with God. And those are just the examples that are covered in that one article. So if all of these African cultures and other cultures use dance in such similar ways, there has to be some reasoning behind it. These cultures aren't just all doing that for no reason. So I read a 1995 article for the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine, where Judith Hanna said, quote, dancing may give a person a sense of being in charge of the body and its actions, physical health, and appearance. The sense of self-mastery contributes to a positive self-perception, body image, self-esteem, and self-confidence, end quote. In my opinion, dance is a powerful method of relief, whether it be emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual, etc. And I think that that could be the reasoning behind why dance works so well for the purposes that these cultures are using it for. They also are a good way to try to explain the reasoning behind dance and movement therapies. So according to Brooks and Stark, dance is a way to express feelings, particularly those that are negative and are uncomfortable or overwhelming to verbalize and talk about verbally. Quote, feelings which are often denied or repressed are more safely experienced, identified, and expressed in a dance movement therapy session. So I do actually have a picture of dance therapy from, sorry, I immediately forgot how to share my screen, from the New York State Association of Dance Therapy. So here is just a picture, me gesturing to it. Here's just a picture of like a therapy session going on, and this webpage kind of delves into what they do and like their reasonings behind that. So dance is just used as a safe outlet to move and interpret the meaning of each movement in a story that conveys a meaning or emotion to you personally. A resource utilized by the authors of the article proposed 3 cause-effect relationships that might explain the etiology of emotions, which might delve into the reason that dance is good for healing them. So they said that, quote, 1, perception arouses emotion and then emotion causes bodily changes. 2, perception induces bodily changes that are felt as emotions. Or 3, perception arouses both bodily changes and emotion, end quote. So basically that's suggesting that we perceive stimuli and then our reaction to that stimuli causes either a physiological response, an emotional response, or both. So I'm going to use the example of you seeing somebody hit a dog with their car. I know it's a sad example, but so if I see someone hit a dog with their car, even if I don't know the dog, I'm going to have a physical response to that. I am going to jump back or curl in or start to feel sick. And then that is going to make me feel sad and uncomfortable, and it's just going to be unpleasant all around. So that's one example. That would be an example of the first theory that he suggested. An example of the second one, that your emotional response triggers a bodily change, is like if I saw somebody hit a dog with their car and I immediately felt so sad and so upset for that dog that I threw up because I just couldn't even handle my emotions. And then the third one is both at the same time. So that would be like a conjunction of the 2 examples that I just gave you, but there's no like third effect. You just feel both of those things, and like that is that. So in any scenario, all of those responses are engaged. So another article that I also read about dance therapy, this one written by Leventhal in 2008, suggested that the concepts exhibited in dance performance and instruction can be extended and used as metaphors for your daily personal life. So in dance, you need to be able to control your body and you need to have good balance. So finding balance in the different aspects of your life, balance between work and home, would be an example of extending the balance that you need for dance to the life around you, or just control of the circumstances around you. There's a lot of control. You have full control of your movements when you dance. So if you feel like you don't have a lot of control over what's going on in your life, you might want to go and dance, because at least you'll have that sense of control. So I found a good quote that I really, really liked that said, quote, dance therapy facilitates integration and alignment of body to mind, mind to spirit, spirit to body, etc. Dance is the manifestation of the spiritual, ephemeral worlds, but its expression utilizes concrete physical elements. It's in the interpreting and the imaging which occurs during the actual therapy that the potential for an immediate 3-dimensional event is defined. End quote. Dance has been used for centuries as a method to connect other worlds. It has a way of impacting people in such a wide array of mechanisms, whether it be for fun, to appease demons like the Stambali, to connect with God like the Zikr, or even if it's just for your own personal healing, like in a dance movement therapy, or for medical healing like they also use the Stambali for in Tunisian culture. Dance can improve the life of each and every person, and if we're all a little happier, a little better put together, isn't the world a better place? Thank you.